Welcome back to the channel Valuable Coins HD. Today we're embarking on a deep dive into a truly iconic piece of American numismatic history, the 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny. This 1-cent coin might seem small and humble, but it carries with it a powerful story, rich historical significance, and yes, a potential value that can astonish even seasoned collectors. If you've ever been curious about old pennies, their hidden worth, or what makes certain coins stand out in the vast world of currency, this video is going to give you a thorough look into the 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny with its mint mark. Stick around because by the end, you'll know exactly why this penny deserves a second glance and just how valuable it can be. Let's start by setting the stage with some historical context. The year 1948 was a significant period for the United States. The country was recovering from the aftermath of World War II and embarking on a journey toward economic growth and global leadership. During this post-war era, everyday objects like coins tell the story of America's resilience and evolving identity. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's centennial birth year, was still very much in circulation, beloved for its simplicity and its homage to one of the nation's most revered presidents. The 1948 penny belongs to the classic Wheat Penny series, named for the wheat stalks elegantly featured on the reverse side. This design, crafted by Victor David Brenner, remained unchanged for over 4 decades and is a favorite among collectors worldwide. What makes the 1948 issue stand out is not just the design but the subtle variations marked by mint marks, indicating where the coin was struck. On the obverse side of the coin, you will see the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. This portrait is finely detailed, capturing Lincoln's solemn and thoughtful expression, symbolizing honesty and strength during some of America's toughest times. Above his head is the motto, "In God We Trust," reflecting a nation's faith, and to the left, the word "Liberty" is inscribed, a simple yet powerful reminder of the values that shaped the United States. The date, 1948, sits prominently to the right, with a small mint mark just beneath the date. The mint mark could be a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mark at all for Philadelphia. Now, let's flip the coin and admire the reverse. The iconic wheat penny design features 2 graceful stalks of wheat arching along the edges of the coin. At the center is the phrase, 1 cent, the coin's denomination, and above it, United States of America. Below the denomination, you'll find the motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. This side of the penny is a beautiful tribute to America's agricultural roots and the unity of its people. While millions of these pennies were produced, their condition and origin mint can make a world of difference when it comes to value. Circulated pennies, the ones that have been used in everyday transactions, often show wear, scratches, and loss of detail. These coins usually have a value close to their face value, or a modest premium if they're well preserved. But the real treasures lie in coins that have been kept in exceptional condition, untouched by circulation, and those that bear certain mint marks. The mint mark on the 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a crucial clue for collectors. Denver minted coins, marked with a D, tend to be scarcer in pristine condition compared to those minted in Philadelphia, which produced the majority of pennies without a mint mark. San Francisco pennies from this year, marked with an S, are often proof coins, struck with a higher degree of precision and finish. These proof coins are rare and highly prized because they were not intended for general circulation. Beyond condition and mint mark, some 1948 pennies exhibit unique characteristics or minting errors that elevate their appeal. Errors like double dies, where the coin's design appears doubled or blurred, or off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, transform ordinary pennies into sought-after collector's items. Such anomalies are rare and make these coins stand out in the marketplace, often bringing impressive premiums. So, how much is a 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny worth? For everyday circulated coins, the value remains quite modest, usually just a few cents above face value depending on condition. But for pennies that are in mint or near mint condition, especially those with Denver or San Francisco mint marks, the value increases dramatically. When you factor in rare mint errors and flawless preservation, this coin's worth can become truly remarkable. To give you a clear picture, a 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny in outstanding condition, especially one bearing a Denver or San Francisco mint mark, could be worth as much as $97,800. That's right. Nearly $100,000 for a coin that originally served as simple pocket change. If you're lucky enough to stumble upon one of these pennies, take the time to examine it carefully. Look for the mint mark, check the coin's surface for wear or any unusual marks, and consider having it professionally graded. A certified evaluation can unlock its true market potential and ensure you get the value it deserves. Today, we're setting our sights on a classic piece of American coinage that carries not only the weight of history but also the thrill of potential treasure, the 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny with its mint mark. This humble 1-cent coin might look small and ordinary at first glance, but dive a little deeper with me, and you'll discover layers of history, art, and surprising value. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting out in coin collecting, this video will give you everything you need to know about the 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny, why it matters, and just how much it could be worth today. Let's start with the backdrop: 1949 America. This was a time when the nation was moving forward from the shadows of World War II, stepping into a period of rapid growth and transformation. The economy was booming, the suburbs were expanding, and the cultural landscape was evolving. In the everyday lives of millions, coins like the Lincoln Wheat penny passed from hand to hand, quietly witnessing the changing times. Now, this penny is part of a beloved series that started back in 1909, the Lincoln Wheat penny series. This was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, President Abraham Lincoln, and it quickly became one of the most iconic designs in American coinage history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Wheat penny showcases Lincoln's portrait on the front and, as the name suggests, two stylized wheat stalks framing the reverse side. The wheat ears symbolize prosperity and abundance, fitting imagery for a country growing stronger after the trials of the early 20th century. Looking closer at the coin's obverse side, you'll see Lincoln's dignified profile, with finely etched details capturing the contours of his face, his beard, and the texture of his hair. Above his head is the national motto, "In God We Trust," and to the left, the word "liberty" reminds us of the fundamental principles the coin embodies. To the right, the year 1949 marks the minting date, with a small mint mark just below it indicating where this particular penny was struck. Mint marks might be a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mark at all for Philadelphia, each telling its own story of origin and rarity. Turning the coin over, the reverse side immediately draws your eye to the iconic wheat ears sweeping upward along each edge. Between them sits the denomination 1 cent, with United States of America above, and the motto E pluribus unum, out of many, one, below. This reverse design stayed unchanged from 1909 all the way through 1958, making it instantly recognizable and cherished among collectors. So why is the 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny with a mint mark so special? First, it's important to understand that while millions of these pennies were minted, most ended up as everyday change, passing through countless hands, worn down, scratched, and losing much of their original detail. This reduces their value, of course. However, pennies that have been preserved in exceptional condition, those with sharp details, full luster, and no signs of circulation, are where the real magic happens. Adding to their allure, the mint mark plays a crucial role. The Denver Mint, for example, produced fewer coins than Philadelphia, making D mint-marked coins rarer in pristine condition. San Francisco pennies marked with an S are often proof coins, specially struck with care for collectors rather than general circulation, and those tend to fetch a premium as well. Even pennies from Philadelphia, despite no mint mark, can be valuable if they are of high quality. In addition to mint marks and condition, some 1949 pennies might exhibit interesting minting anomalies. Errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks can significantly boost a coin's desirability and value. Collectors love these quirks because they tell a unique story about the coin's creation and set it apart from ordinary examples. When it comes to the coin's value, the range is broad. Circulated pennies without special features usually hold minimal premium above face value. But uncirculated coins, especially those with Denver or San Francisco mint marks, can command impressive prices in the collector's market. Add in rare errors or exceptional grading, and the price climbs even higher. To put things into perspective, a 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny in near-perfect condition, bearing a desirable mint mark, could be worth an astonishing $90,700. That's right, over $90,000 for a single penny. If you happen to own a 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny or come across one tucked away in a drawer or jar, it's well worth a careful examination. Look for the mint mark, assess the condition, and consider having it professionally graded to unlock its true market potential. Sometimes, the coins you least expect can hold the greatest surprises. Today, we're unlocking the secrets behind a tiny copper coin that has become one of the most fascinating finds in American coin history, the 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny with a mint mark. This isn't just any old penny. It's a piece of American legacy. A coin born during the post-war boom, in an era when cars were getting fins, TVs were black and white, and Elvis was just hitting the airwaves. And tucked into that era, among billions of pennies, is one with a story worth telling, and maybe even worth a small fortune. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln Wheat penny was minted from 1909 to 1958, and the 1956 version is one of the last in the series. On the front, you'll see the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln. On the reverse, those two classic wheat stalks standing tall, a symbol of American agriculture and resilience. It's not flashy, but it's iconic. And it's beloved by collectors all over the world. Now here's where it gets interesting. In 1956, the U.S. Mint struck pennies in Philadelphia and Denver. You'll know which is which by looking just below the date. If there's a small d, that means it was minted in Denver. Millions were made, but only some carry a rare and valuable twist. See, in the coin world, mistakes often lead to value. And one of the most prized errors on a 1956 D penny is something called a double die, specifically, a double die obverse. What does that mean? It means during the minting process, the die that stamps the coin shifted or struck twice, leaving behind a doubled image, and if you're lucky enough to have a 1956 D penny with a double die, especially one where the doubling is visible on the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust," then you might be holding something far more than a piece of copper. But that's not the only thing that makes this coin rare. Some 1956 D wheat pennies were struck off-center, had repunched mint marks, or came with other minting flaws that collectors absolutely love. These error coins are far more than quirks, they're rarities, each one unique, and in high demand, and here's what takes it to the next level. Condition. If you find one of these rare error pennies in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been damaged, worn down, or tossed around in people's pockets for decades, its value skyrockets. Imagine holding a 1956 penny so well preserved, it looks like it came off the press yesterday. That kind of find, paired with the right mint mark and a rare doubling error, that's the dream for any serious coin collector. So what's it worth? You've stayed with me through the history, the design, the errors, and the rarity, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. One verified 1956 D Lincoln Wheat penny with a double die error and in pristine condition has sold for an incredible $75,900. Yes. That's not a typo. One small penny, the kind you might overlook on the sidewalk, valued at $75,900. Today, we're going back to the early 1940s, a time of global tension, rising patriotism, and one of the most important decades in American history. And during that time, a small copper coin quietly entered circulation. It was passed from hand to hand, used in soda machines, payphones, and corner stores. But what if I told you that one of those coins might be worth more than your entire car today? We're talking about the 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny, a coin that, for most people, looks ordinary. But for those who know what to look for, it could be something extraordinary. Let's talk about why this coin matters. The Lincoln Wheat penny was already a familiar sight in American pockets, first minted in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. But the 1941 version stands out, not because of its design, which still featured Lincoln on the front and two wheat ears on the reverse, but because of what happened behind the scenes. In 1941, the U.S. Mint was operating at full speed. The world was on the edge of war, and America was just months away from entering World War II. As the country prepared, millions of coins were being produced, and among them, the 1941 wheat pennies. Now, here's where things get interesting for collectors like you. These pennies were struck at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia, which had no mint mark; Denver, marked with a small d; and San Francisco, marked with an S. Each version tells a different story, but some have secrets that make them incredibly valuable. Let's talk errors, because that's where the magic lies. Some 1941 pennies, particularly those from Denver and San Francisco, were struck with double die errors. These are mistakes during the minting process when the coin design is stamped twice, just slightly off, creating a doubling effect. You might see it in the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," or even in the numbers of the date itself. To the untrained eye, it's easy to miss. But to a collector, that small imperfection can make the difference between a 1-cent coin and a coin worth thousands. And there's more. Some 1941 pennies have repunched mint marks, where the D or S was punched more than once, leaving shadows or strange outlines. Others were struck off-center, on defective planchets, or with die cracks, small but collectible flaws that make these coins unique and valuable. But here's the most important piece of the puzzle: condition. A 1941 penny found in a junk drawer isn't going to make headlines. But one that has been carefully preserved? Sharp details, shiny luster, no scratches or wear. That's when the value soars. Combine the right mint mark with the right error, in the right condition, and you've got a coin that collectors around the world are willing to fight over. So, what's the big number? You've stuck with me through the story, the history, and the hunt for minting errors. And now, let's talk about just how much a 1941 wheat penny can be worth, if it checks all the right boxes. A rare 1941 Lincoln wheat penny with a mint mark, a double die error, and in uncirculated condition has sold for an astonishing $85,600. Yes. You heard that right. One single copper penny, worth $85,600. So before you toss that old change or walk past that dusty coin jar, take a second look. That tiny 1941 penny might be holding a very big surprise. Today, we're diving into a coin that's over 70 years old, but still sending shockwaves through the world of numismatics, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny with a mint mark. Now you may be thinking, come on, it's just a penny from the 50s. But this isn't just any penny. This is one of those rare finds that could be sitting in your collection right now, a coin that once bought candy and soda, but today, could be worth more than most people's annual salary. Let's go back in time for a moment. The year is 1953. The Korean War is winding down, Dwight D. Eisenhower is in the White House, and America is booming with post-war optimism. In the middle of all that, the U.S. Mint continues to press one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Lincoln wheat cent. That year, pennies were minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a small d, and San Francisco with the legendary S. These tiny letters, often overlooked, tell us exactly where the coin was made. But they also unlock a deeper mystery: why some of these coins are just pennies, and others are priceless. Now, here's what separates a valuable 1953 wheat penny from a regular one. Errors. Rarity. Condition. Let's start with errors. Every once in a while, something goes wrong at the mint. A die shifts. A letter doubles. A mint mark gets punched twice or in the wrong place. And when that happens, we get what's known as an error coin. These aren't just flawed, they're fascinating, unique, and highly collectible. In the case of the 1953 wheat penny, one of the most talked about errors is the repunched mint mark. This happens when the mint mark, say, the S or the D, was accidentally punched more than once, leaving behind visible traces or shadows around the letter. It's subtle, but unmistakable once you spot it. Even more exciting? Some 1953 pennies were struck with double dies, where parts of the design appear doubled, especially the date, the word liberty, or the iconic motto "In God We Trust." These doubling errors are rare, and they're the kind of thing collectors pay big money for, but the story doesn't stop at mint errors. Condition is king. A 1953 penny that's been through decades of pockets, piggy banks, and junk drawers? Not worth much. But a 1953 wheat penny in uncirculated condition, no scratches, strong details, full luster, that's when things get serious. Combine that pristine condition with a mint error, and now you've got a coin that's more than a collectible, it's a crown jewel. So here's the question you've been waiting for: what's the highest known value for one of these humble 1953 wheat pennies? Well, one rare example, featuring a bold repunched mint mark, struck cleanly and preserved in stunning condition, once sold for a mind-blowing $98,900, yes. You heard that correctly. One tiny 1-cent coin, worth $98,900. So don't sleep on those old wheat pennies. What looks like a common coin might just be a rare gem waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this video and want more deep dives into valuable coins hiding in plain sight, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a treasure hunting tip. Thanks for watching, and remember, every coin has a story, and some are worth far more than you'd ever expect. Happy collecting!